You know the feeling. You run yourself ragged trying to outpace a toxic relationship dynamic, financial stress, or a dead-end career. But no matter how fast you move, you end up exactly where you started. When we hit these walls, our default reaction is to rearrange the scenery. We quit the job, leave the partner, or pack up and move to a new city. But then the paradox hits. The new boss acts exactly like the old one. The new city feels just as lonely. The debt piles up again. We operate under the unquestioned assumption that the external world is a solid, independent structure. We believe reality is something that simply happens to us. If changing the physical environment never actually stops the loop, the root cause cannot be the environment. The source has to exist somewhere else entirely. Imagine looking in the mirror and seeing a smudge on your cheek. You wouldn't grab a rag and start scrubbing the glass to clean your face. Yet that is exactly how we treat our lives. We spend all our energy scrubbing the glass, trying to force people and circumstances to change, while the reflection remains completely unresponsive. The mid-20th century mystic Neville Goddard proposed a different starting point. His core thesis was simple: consciousness is the only true reality. In his framework, causation is entirely reversed. The events of your life are a delayed echo, an objectification of your internal state, meaning the world moves through you, not the other way around. Escaping the loop requires a total shift in how we operate. Real change only occurs when we move from reacting to the outside world to creating from the inside. To understand how this works, we have to strip away your personal history, your trauma, and your name. What remains is a blank foundational awareness, the simple sense of I am. Statements attached to that baseline, like I am poor or successful, are not permanent traits, but temporary assumptions. Goddard called these states of consciousness, individual rooms within a vast blueprint of possibilities. Don't build a new reality, simply shift your attention and occupy a different room. Identity is highly fluid. Transforming your life is ultimately a matter of consciously relocating your awareness into the state you actually want to inhabit. Modern manifestation culture often focuses on the performative, telling you to hype yourself up with intense positive emotions to attract what you want. Goddard's method is much quieter. He defined feeling as naturalness, the ordinary, almost boring conviction that your desire is already a fact. To bypass the brain's analytical resistance, Goddard pointed to the state akin to sleep. In that drowsy threshold just before you drift off, your defenses drop, making it the optimal time to impress this feeling of naturalness onto the subconscious. He also introduced a practice called revision. Instead of letting painful memories dictate your expectations, you mentally rewrite their psychological impact, neutralizing their ability to control your present. Consistently applying these tools makes a desired future feel normal. When that future becomes familiar in the present moment, the internal state stabilizes. It still sounds abstract. How can a shift in consciousness actually result in different physical circumstances in the external world? We can look at neuroplasticity and predictive processing, two frameworks that describe how the brain maps its environment and prioritizes information. Sustaining a new state shifts neural connectivity. As pathways strengthen, the brain's internal model updates its baseline expectations. This new model filters data differently. You notice previously invisible opportunities and execute micro-shifts in behavior, triggering what Goddard called a bridge of incidents. The mystical act of imagination turns out to be a practical one. It provides the neurological framework to perceive and interact with a new version of the world. The goal of this system is what Goddard called living in the end. You stop desiring things from a place of distance and lack. To stay there, you have to drop the how. You relinquish the desperate need to micromanage every step of the process. What remains is a quiet, unshakable confidence. You treat the desired outcome as a present fact, regardless of the current external chaos moving around you. We return to the mirror. The physical world is not a fixed prison. It is a highly fluid substance, waiting to reflect the internal state you choose to hold. True freedom is not the act of forcing the outside world to bend. It is the realization that the world changes automatically when consciousness changes first.
Thank you for watching. If something in this resonated with you, then you're already closer than you think. If you're ready to go deeper, there's a link below to my book, The Neville Goddard System, Law, Identity, and the Promise. This isn't theory, it's a framework you can actually use. Tap the link below and step into it.